All right. Starve maxing. Ooh. We don't know if bone smashing is in there, but we'll see.
This is a picture of me in January of 2021. And this is a picture of me I took from my camera roll a couple weeks ago. So how did I transform my face from this to this in the span of a year?
LOOKSMAXXING. LOOKSMAXXING? The LOOKSMAXXING wave has officially taken the world by.
Okay, so you need to be mewing. Bone smashing right here. Good. Chin extensions. Guys, I've got a weird fucking chin, okay? My chin is too big. That's why I hide it. That's why I hide it with this. You guys would not like me if you could see my chin. You would not like me. I have a weird chin.
A storm. It has become quite the buzzword. Put simply, LOOKSMAXXING is the idea of maxing out your looks in every way possible. All of you watching can go from an average 4 out of 10 guy to an 8 out of 10 with no surgeries.
I'm making these changes just so I can get girls.
I legitimately
You
feel
think I
terrible
have a normal chin because I make my chin look normal. I hide my chin using this beard, right? It's hidden. It's locked away. Sealed forever. But it's weird looking. It's a weird looking chin. I hide it. I hide it. I hide it very well. You'll never see it. You'll never find out.
for young men in the modern age because the internet is constantly.
Wait, I want to see this.
I legitimately feel terrible for young men in the modern age because the internet is
Finally breaking my mewing streak in 2050 as I send my son off to Hogwarts.
constantly contaminating their mind.
My chin is too strong for my face is the problem.
With what it means to be good looking. If you're not inside that 10 to 12% body fat mark, majority of women are going to find you a lot less desirable.
Maximizing jaw, cheekbone, and maxillary structure.
Well, the actual shape of the eye is extremely important. If you don't
Yeah, the canthal tilt.
have hunter eyes and a canthal tilt, you
See, I already know all this shit. I've been aware of the LOOKSMAXXING for a hot minute. Yeah, I've been aware of LOOKSMAXXING since basically since I got on Twitter.
will actually never see a boobie in your life. Keep biting. Been doing it for years. No one will ever know that I'm biting my cheeks.
I've been LOOKSMAXXING all summer. I'm ready to get these checks.
Picture this. You've woken up at the crack of dawn, sun barely creeping in through your bedroom blinds, and you've beaten your alarm because in your totally awesome life, you're undefeated on getting 8 hours of sleep every night. Early to bed, early to rise, no one can match your bed game at night.
And that's why I have my ice cold gel face mask.
Even though it's the 75th day in a row that you've done this, you've decided to add something new to your routine. But first, an actual routine. You head to the bathroom, you grab a cleanser, you grab a moisturizer, and you end it all off with a dermatologist recommended sunscreen. As Hockerty once told you, your face is the canvas upon which your style is projected. Then it's time for breakfast. Fruits, vegetables, lean chicken, oatmeal, the breakfast of champions. Of course, your body is a temple. You follow this up by lifting and jogging at the same time to the gym where you run
Lifting and jogging at the same
a
time.
little more before lifting some more. Gains, bro. You head home, you brush, floss, use teeth whitening strips. I mean, they call it $1 million smile for a reason. And to match that smile, you've got an equally ravishing sense of drip. $3,600 Cesare Attolini on a $790 Dior dress shirt, of course. If any of the drip fails to impress, you've completely failed, bro. Live like new money, dress like old money. You take a look in the mirror, your hair is silky smooth. Facial hair, not too overwhelming, but just manly enough to establish your dominance so that you can now say to yourself, I am the fucking Giga Chad. You follow.
What's wrong with any of that? Literally what... I swear to God, Swoop, if you take some sort of, like, anti-man, fucking femboy-esque, like, you can be whoever you want to be by just being yourself, I will fucking yell at you, because sometimes, you know, women, okay, listen, women, they do a lot. They do the face scrub, they do the things, they make their face all good, right? Why can't men do that without the makeup? You know, why Why is it bad when men want to look good for themselves? What if they're not doing it for you, Swoop? What if they're doing it for themselves?
Follow this up with the single most important part of your morning routine. You stick your tongue to the roof of your mouth and lightly shut your teeth. This is called mewing.
This is a long-term practice that could possibly improve your jawline.
Everything about your routine is perfect because you made it that way. And you're perfect because you wanted to be perfect. You're down to 10% body fat total. This is working because when you're looks maxing the right way, you're increasing your looks to the max. Well done, bro. Well
There's nothing wrong with that. Swoop.
done.
And anything fatter than that, anything over 12% body fat, in my opinion, I would consider you to not be in shape as a man.
What you're doing is a daily routine that has gone viral in recent months called looks maxing. Now, on the surface, looks maxing is simple self-care in the interest of enhancing your looks as a man. As we see it can be this basic, improved diet, skincare routine, exercise, and whatever the mewing is. Now, looks maxing has
Mewing is a
become
way of
somewhat
slowly reshaping your facial bones.
of a mini internet cult unto itself, with view counts on TikTok ranging in the billions, and a number of internet forums full of young boys and men trying to improve their appearance and gain the validation of their peers through an honestly confusing rating system. I'm not joking. But looks maxing also has a somewhat of a dark origin story and can lead its followers down some equally dark paths should they choose to go down them, from
Physiognomy. You're talking about physiognomy, but physiognomy is real.
steroid abuse to plastic surgery to even the potential development of EDs to even self-mutilation. Looks maxing cannot and should not be underestimated as a potential tool not only for self-improvement, but possibly even self-destruction. So you reach down, grab what you need.
Next, you're gonna
right
say that
for
the boys
upper
shouldn't be
cheekbone
jelking
near your
it.
eye, and bam, hit yourself with a hammer. Breaks bones to make gains, brah. Again,
Okay, there you go, Adam. We're getting into the bone smashing.
I'm not joking. There is a very dark side to looks maxing, and we're gonna dig all into it. And this is what we know. So, looks maxing, what the hell is it? Who started this? And why do dudes think that pressing your tongue to your mouth while getting jaw implants or taking a hammer to your cheekbones to reshape your eyes is the sole and only key to getting laid by women? You know,
So
the
true.
same women they hate and blame all their problems on, those women. And
You're projecting.
if they're submitting shirtless photos
They
of
actually want to have sex with me.
themselves to forums full of other shirtless, protein-packed, potato chip professors named Chad to rate them, are they doing
Okay, can you stop hating on all of my hobbies and internet friends? Excuse me. Can we talk about how everything you're doing right here is just like really bro-phobic? Can we talk about the brophobia of this documentary? Because I don't think it's very cool.
all of this for the attention of women or the attention of other men? But I'm getting ahead, and how
What's
rude
wrong
of me
with
not
male
to introduce
attention?
myself. Oh, hi there. Hello, hello, hi. It's my face again. Swoop! Should we do the theme song? Swoop, 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 swoop. Sorry, I know I haven't done it in a while, and y'all be like baking me in the comments, so here we are. If you're seeing me for the first time, hi, my name is Swoop, welcome. I'm a filmmaker, and I make documentaries and short films on unsolved cases, true crime, and social media influencers who abuse their power and manipulate audiences because, as I always say, it's not drama, it's dangerous.
I can't wait until my YouTube channel is large enough for me to manipulate my audience, because it's going to be great. It's going to be really great. I'm going to do so much fucked up shit to my audience. You guys are going to be like, what the fuck? These allegations are crazy.
Also dig deeper into the root psychology, and sometimes we take it to Petty University, cause honey, Petty is my warm and comfy blanket in the midnight hour. She covers me, she keeps me safe. We love Miss Petty LaBelle. I don't know what that was. If you want to join our community, all are welcome, and you can grab your exclusive valid rib cage hoodies and shirts and the valid social club apparel collection. It's my favorite collection that we've ever done. That is all linked in the Petty University shop, linked below.
Smaxing.
So as I said in the intro, LOOKSMAXXING is basically an advanced self-care routine, but with some extra steps. And in case you're wondering why we're doing a deep dive into this, let's start by introducing you to a few things. The LOOKSMAXXING TikToks, the full definition, and then the thing that will really iron in why I am doing this, the up history. Because yeah, it's okay. So if you haven't experienced LOOKSMAXXING,
So she's definitely going to talk about physiognomy and phrenology and stuff then, right? Like, probably.
You need to follow.
And I know the changes I've made in this short period of time have been significant because I've had a lot more interactions with girls.
And on it goes with 164,000
My version of this is when I shaved my head. When I got a buzz cut, the men were all over me, dude.
videos
They
with
like it when I look
millions of
homophobic.
views and counting. But that leads me to the bigger picture question. Is this all LOOKSMAXXING really is, right? Simple self-care? What the hell is a Canthal tilt? What's with all of these ratings on screen? And what's this Auntie Swoop that you said about mewing? I'm sorry, are there cats involved? Like, if you ask a LOOKSMAXXer, they'll define LOOKSMAXXING as a full lifestyle. The Webster Hockerty has a whole LOOKSMAXXING section that says, quote, in the age of self-improvement, LOOKSMAXXING has become more than a buzzword. It's a lifestyle. What is LOOKSMAXXING, you ask? Well, it's like being a sculptor and the clay all rolled into one. You're working to enhance your natural gifts, taking your looks from good to outstanding, but here's the kicker. Life's not a level playing field.
They're trying to tell you something,
have to
Jaggle.
play
They want
catch
you
up
to
get to where
start
others seemingly started.
LOOKSMAXXING.
Think of it as a game where some players have a head start. It's not about beating them, it's about maximizing your own potential. That sounds like a recipe for really healthy individuals. Now, if some of this language sounds really familiar to you, you're in for a treat later, but for now, it's all a really long-winded way of saying, like, you should be a LOOKSMAXXer because there are people that are better and more attractive than you, and this is a way for you to be better than them. You know, it's just giving the super hot pick-me energy. Yes, daddy.
You just need better, I guess,
way to go. I'm so glad this is
the
still a
cheeks
thing
is
in
what we need?
2024. But it's weird, right? Like, self-care should be focused on self-care, self-improvement, and so on, and like not focused on make me more like somebody else. Like, literally, that just sounds like an abandonment of self, but we're calling it self-care. Okay, it's just like a self, like, shitting on thyself. But, you know, what do I know? I'm just a bitch with a master's degree in self-hate. So,
okay, I like that.
the thing is, the way they
Plastic
package
surgery at
all
30
of
is
this
good.
isn't just a marketing technique either.
Oh, God. What the fuck is going on? He looks so fucking bad. I hate this. Like, I hate this, like, angular, like, he's perfect. I don't agree. I don't know. I don't like it when men look like this. I feel like I'll cut myself on their jaws.
Like, virtually every LOOKSMAXXer feels this way, for better or for worse.
Put simply, LOOKSMAXXING is the idea of maxing out your looks in every way possible. It's like making a character in a video game and trying to use as many points as you can in upping the looks bar stat. But real life is different.
Looks
in that some
bar
people will
stat.
start with most of the bar already filled up. These are the genetically gifted. And others will only have a little bit filled up and will need to grind out and farm more points to get to that same level.
Because the thing is that as humans, we link
this
our
finally
identity
my
to
first
our
shit?
appearance, and we always face internal resistance when
I
it
was
comes
like,
to
is
changing
this
our
my first
identity. I don't
Jaggle
wanna do it.
face
I don't wanna
pick?
be like, I'm
No.
making these changes just so I can get girls girls.
This is
that
some
makes me feel
fucking
okay. Am I really gonna put in all this
weird
work to change who I
yaoi.
am, and then I'm still just gonna be ugly? You can't be like, oh yeah, maybe I'll change my hair or this thing or that thing. You need to be like, no, I'm gonna make decisive changes because otherwise it's not gonna happen.
Knowing what looksmaxxing is one thing, but truly understanding it is another. Okay, so to try, all of my ladies, or my makeup-loving individuals who are watching right now, like when you're trying to fine-tune the perfect foundation base with your primer and blend it into the best cut crease by carving out all of
So, yeah, women do way worse than this. Why aren't we canceling that?
the contours, and there's a specific tapered brush that okay, ladies, hi. Now that we've lost all of the makeup allergic dudes out there who are
Oh, yeah? This documentary is so dude-phobic. I hate
tuning
it.
out everything that my other self is saying. What just happened to them may happen to you while I'm defining looksmaxxing, okay? I'm just giving you a heads up. Some of what I'm about to say sounds like complete nonsense, and to some it might actually be some kind of ironic meme, and I don't blame you, okay? It's taken a lot for me to not get petty right now. But as far as I could tell, especially given the existence of the LooksMax forums with hundreds of thousands of members, a lot of this is taken very seriously with these dudes, okay? Especially by teenage boys. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little heads up, and now I'm just gonna snap.
Well, I think it should be taken seriously by teenage boys because they have the most malleable faces right now. If you are a teenage boy, you could go full acne pizza face, pick at all your acne, rip it all off your face, give yourself permanent lifelong scars, right? You could do that. Or you could be conscious of your skin and your skin quality, and you could start looksmaxxing. We're dudes. We just like to say everything is a pill or maxing or whatever. It just means they're taking fucking care of their skin, and they're trying to work out their jaw muscles so that they have a more masculine face structure. There's nothing wrong with it. Until they start breaking their bones, then there's a little bit wrong with it. But nothing else about this is that bad. Especially, I think everyone should learn physiognomy because it allows you to detect people's true motives at a glance.
All of the dudes out of the trance where they were zoning out because my other self was talking about makeup right now. Okay, so we're gonna do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, and tits and ass. Am I right, bruh? Yeah.
So bro-phobic. You are so bro-phobic. I need to become like the anti-Swoop.
Can't get enough. Woo. Booty in my face. That's amazing. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I couldn't resist. Anyways, now that you've been warned, let's figure this out. So here's the thing about looksmaxxing. Understanding looksmaxxing means understanding an entire new language. Now, some of these things are obvious, others aren't. So just, strap in and let me act as your personal Rosetta Stone before we dive deeper, because there are a lot of...
I wonder if I'm going to know more about this than her, or if she's done a lot of research.
Definitions here, some of which I unfortunately had to research on incel forums, but unlike other definitions you may learn at Petty University, I promise each of these are at the very least amusing and at best, hilarious. It's a lot. Actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead right now, since we're in a little lesson moment. Let's just...
Remember when we went on the incel wiki and we were like scrolling through and we found like actor homo dominance theory? I thought that was
Take
fun.
us to class. Petty University, roll the intro. Start our first lesson off with the first definition of soft maxing. Y'all, I swear this sounds like terms that you would expect like 18-year-old boys with too much sticky time on their hands to be throwing around on RedTube. Wait, actually, can you even leave comments on RedTube? I have no idea. Okay, swoop back to the point. So, soft maxing. So this is most of what you will see on TikTok when you look up looksmaxxing. The term looksmaxxing, if you couldn't tell, is a bit of a combination of looks and maxing,
Yes.
a portmanteau, if you will.
We like to max
big
things.
words, but it's just meaning to improve your looks to the max. So soft max is to do the bare necessities like brushing, flossing, teeth whitening, grooming, and mewing.
Other normal things that everyone should be doing. Maybe not everyone should mew, but
Yes, it's kind of weird, and no, I never again want to see an AI-generated love child rendering of Boris Johnson and Brad Pitt. No one needs that horrifying visual. Anyways, mewing, contrary to the fact that I can't stop picturing my 4 foster cats pestering me for food when I hear the word mewing.
I started doing this thing called mewing. There's gonna be so many people in the comment section who are like, mewing doesn't work. It's a scam. No, it's a scam. I hate it. I did not go from this to this for no reason, bro. All it's really doing is just giving your face the proper tongue posture. You take your tongue and you put it at the roof of your mouth.
I just do that normally. Like, when I'm relaxed, my tongue is on the roof of my mouth. I probably close my teeth too much, though.
idea behind mewing is actually to train your tongue to regularly rest on the roof of your mouth as a form of jaw exercise to change its shape. It's just like you like put the tip there, just the tip, and then you like, it's like you, I don't even know how to demonstrate y'all. The jawline you're looking at is a key component of the LOOKSMAXXING experience. There is really only one look to achieve, and this is it. Sorry guys, if your jawline isn't the shape of a trapezoid on steroids, then you've clearly failed at life. So yeah. But where did mewing even come from? And my God, does it work, bruh? I'm just gonna let you know now, no. Well, probably not. Like, mewing is actually a variation of something called orthotropics, a fringe pseudoscientific theory that essentially killed the careers of its biggest champions, John and Michael Mew. Yes.
I don't know, man. Look at his fucking thunguses out there. They're fucking thongin'.
There is a dude with the last name Mew attached to this, and I have discovered this because I am a thorough mewing bitch. Just
Okay, good. You know, she's doing some good research. I already knew about this guy, but she's doing good research.
kidding, I don't mew. I'm just a bitch. As the New York Times put it, traditional orthodontic teaching explains crooked teeth mostly through genetics. We inherit the alignment of our bite from our parents, just as we inherit almost any other trait. Mew does not.
Actually, this is true for me. For me, so I wonder if this will actually be easy to see. So this tooth, right? This tooth for me, it like literally just ever so slightly overlaps my other front tooth. And my mom has that same bite. My grandmother has that same bite. We all have the exact same, like, front tooth lineup. It's weird. So I can't actually anecdotally confirm that genetically you do inherit your mom or your dad's or whoever's genes you wind up with. You have the same bite pattern as them.
Not believe this. Instead, he sees crooked teeth as a symptom of a sweeping, unrecognized health crisis. Changes in our lifestyle and environment since the 18th century, Mew contends, are introducing our jaws to grow small and recessed.
Well, actually, he's kind of right, because that's what happened. That's what's happening to our wisdom teeth. Our jaws have gotten smaller because we eat so much less unprocessed vegetable matter, right? Now that we cook our food, we don't have to chew for as long. So since the advent of cooking and agriculture, we have not had to chew all of our stuff for as hard. So our jaws over time are getting smaller and smaller, which is causing our wisdom teeth to not enter our faces properly. That's why they become impacted. That means they're not, no, it's not anything you can change about yourself in this lifetime. It's already happened. It's literally your genetics now. If you have enough room in your face for your wisdom teeth to come in normally, or if you're gonna have to get them removed. They can't like fix it. So
teeth do their best to come in straight, but our misinformed faces cause them to twist and turn and compete for space. As a result, we've been robbed not only of tidy smiles, but also, Mew says, of the well-defined faces that were the birthright of our ancient ancestors and which Mew regards as the mark of true beauty. That is so funny that he would call that our birthright, to have a trapezoid jaw. That's just weird, man. I love this follow-up article that explains the biggest issue here. Quote, British and American orthodontic researchers told me that nearly every claim the Mews have put forth is wrong. Kevin O'Brien, a leading academic orthodontist in the UK, described their work to me as mostly discredited. When I mentioned Mew to a prominent American orthodontist, he cut me off. John Mew is an idiot.
No.
I
think this is a case of over-specialized experts who are not aware of other disciplines of like science and research and shit. So like she might be talking to orthodontists, right? But those orthodontists might not know about the genetic research that's everything I just said about wisdom teeth. You know what I mean? Like, they might know how teeth come in and how they move around and shit, but they don't know, like, the genetic history of it. They're not multidisciplinary. That's why I get so fucking mad when I know something and I've read scientific papers and I know like current up-to-date fucking research on something, and I try to explain it to someone and they come at me with like some completely different field of science that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And they're just like, well, you're just wrong because I know this kind of science. No, it's wrong. Like, I literally know more than you right now, but because you have a college degree, you think you know more than me. And yeah, I just hate it when people think they know more than someone, but in reality, they don't know shit about dick. And that's kind of what I'm getting the vibe of that from those orthodontists.
There's a quote. This is not even my words. But I'm just like the pettiest
Thank you,
flowing
Jaggle.
bitch. Excuse
Everything
me,
I've
Chad,
ever taught you
Dr.
guys
Petty
is
in
true.
the office, and we'll see you now. So, right off the bat, we see that LOOKSMAXXING is rooted heavily in pseudoscience with no basis in reality. Kind of like the Matrix. Mewing could very well work over time. I don't know. But there's no reliable data that supports it. And the people...
But you have thousands of anecdotal accounts. Like, you were just talking about how many people are doing this on TikTok. And if it doesn't work, why do they all have the exact same fucking jaw?
Well, it's named for, the Mews. I'm gonna name my gaggle of cats that are disgraced pseudoscientists, the Mews, not my cats, whose work isn't published in academia and have had to
So why
resort to
does he
spreading
have
their ideas
the
online
fucking jaw that looks like all the fucking TikTok boys? Why do all of their jaws look like his jaw if mewing isn't real? Why do all of the boys who are into mewing have this exact fucking jawline? Can you explain that to me, please?
As a result, that's usually what happens, right? Pseudoscientists, doctor people, things who don't have any basis for their and they just go online and they just make a TikTok account and say it is fact, and then there's just like a bunch of people who are like, oh, this must be true because it's on TikTok and I didn't research any of it. But yeah, man, that's mewing, the totally legit centerpiece of LOOKSMAXXING. We are off to a great start, bros and hoes and everyone else. So let's move on to mogging. This one actually tickles me. Mogging. Whew, honey,
Yes,
let me try to get through this without laughing. I'm coping mechanism, okay? That's what's going on today. Mogging is defined as the act of standing next to someone you perceive as less attractive in order to appear superior to them. Now you see why I can laugh at this, right? Because that's just not a healthy way, and that's like really arrogant and just kind of Andrew Tate obnoxious.
No, you mog people you don't like. But you can mog people on anything. You can get face mogged, you can get height mogged, you know. Like you can mog someone on almost anything.
Anyways,
I ain't never seen two pretty best friends. It's always one of them gotta be ugly.
think about something like this photo of Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and and Quentin Tarantino. You see it, right? Like you see it. You see okay? Quentin T is getting mogged hard in this pic.
She is using it correctly.
Do I say mogged? It just
yes, you say
who cares?
mogged.
The bitch has been mogged to hell and back in the carpool lane with these two standing there. Get that drip, yes, Daddy Q. Sorry, Petty University, we're still in class. Now, jokes aside, this mogging is big business. Like, listen to Curtis Connor, who actually tried LOOKSMAXXING for a week and discovered something truly wild.
And that term created a joke like within the LOOKSMAXXING community where people would say they're going to Mogwarts, like Hogwarts the school, but it's for everyone is just fucking, they're mewing the whole time, I guess. But the crazy thing is, somebody actually turned the fictional, like satirical Mogwarts joke into an actual online course.
What the hell is Mogwarts and why is it $40? After you join, you're invited to this private community. If you need any advice, you can post a thread about it or reach out to teachers like Keishami, Aaron, or myself if you want their advice directly.
How to gel.
You also get access to a library for textbooks on jaw, eye area, hair, and new editions every month.
What's going on? What are we doing? I swear to God, dudes
See,
will turn
Curtis Connor, he could do some mewing.
anything into an online course. This is an epidemic, bro. Enough, okay? We're done. How about no more online courses, okay?
It's things like this that make the very act of LOOKSMAXXING pretty hard to suss out. You know, they probably belong in the sus pool, which you can find on my second channel, Swoop 2, linked below. But is this all some ironic detached internet thing, or is it serious? How much money is being made by these online courses? Are people just throwing their money away for the bit, or do they really need that help? Judging by how long the LOOKSMAXXING forums have been around and how many users they have, I think they very well might be mostly legit, which is wild, like especially when we get to the next term that you need to know. Hunter eyes. Eyes shaped like almonds, eyes that look at you the way a hunter looks at his prey. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't take this serious. Okay, I'm back, I promise I'm back. Hunter eyes are eyes like this, which really just looks like a dude squinting in the sun to me. I don't know what the gag is, but I guess you need your sad ball sack eyes to be squinting almonds like this. According to mewing.coach.givemeyourmoney.com,
his eyes are 3.5 width to 1 height. Absolutely excellent. Secondly, he has hooded eyes, which can be a hunter eye characteristic. You can see this because the upper eyelids here, there's basically no exposure. Secondly, he's a curved upper eyelid.
They're getting into the phenotypes at the bottom. That's where it starts getting really good. I wonder if she's gonna get into that.
Which is an almond characteristic. Facial flaws, in order of importance, face number 2. So first of all, he has wide set eyes. This is a big flaw in his case. Of an ES ratio of 0.5 and an eye separation ratio of 125%, meaning that in between his eyes there is 125% of one eye width.
Now, you've probably seen a ton of videos like this one. According to the mewing coach, which yes, is a thing apparently, and not just a joke that I wrote a few seconds ago, this too can be accomplished through mewing. Great. To have perfect hunter eyes, you need what LOOKSMAXXers call a positive canthal tilt. This is when the corners of your eyes point upward, almost like a kitty cat. Okay, mewing, cat, hunt. Maybe, I'm just like, maybe this mewing is just an excuse for bros to look at cat videos, in which case it's okay. Come to the cat's dark side. It makes you happier. The cat distribution system has plenty to go around.
Ma'am, you actively disguise your eyes canthal tilt through makeup. Like, you are doing the exact same thing. Men just can't wear makeup. Your makeup gave you a positive canthal tilt.
No, unfortunately, mewing won't always solve this particular hunter eye issue.
You literally draw it onto your eyes. You probably have a neutral canthal tilt, and you use eyeshadow to give yourself the exact kind of hunter eye ratio that they were just talking about, and you have your canthal tilt pointed. Listen. Who else could but me? Who else could? You need a gay man who knows all the shit about this stuff in order to get out in front and fucking defend it, you know? That's my job.
LOOKSMAXXer, so you have to do something else, like face pulling. Pulling and pushing your cheeks and nose up and down to try to reshape your jawline. Can you imagine? Honestly, I really think that all you're doing is just giving yourself premature wrinkles, but go. Can you imagine? And nose up and down to try to reshape your jawline. Can you imagine? Honestly, I really think that all you're doing is just giving yourself premature wrinkles, but go off.
You guys heard of this one?
No, because they wear all of the stuff on their face to prevent wrinkles.
This is pulling on your eyelids to stretch them out, to try to stretch them enough so that they sag over your eyeballs, creating hooded eyes, you know, kind of this
that's a little
hunter
dumb.
eye look.
Serious question, what do they call it when you have an opposite of hunter eyes? They don't go up, they go down.
Gatherer
Negative
eyes.
cancel tilt.
Negative cancel tilt.
And well, it's also called doe eyes. Yeah, I know. They must have run out of red tube terminology for this one. Because if LOOKSMAXXING is anything, it's not subtle. You're either
a negative cancel
fierce
tilt.
Giga Chad hunter or a soft
Well,
Pillsbury
actually, no. I think
boy.
I have a.
If I'm talking
No, I
to a
have
girl
negative.
I'm interested in and my shit's moving like this, right? It's not gonna convey the same demeanor and emotion as if I talk to her like this, right? That one thing has literally changed the way that girls react to me on one-on-one dialogue. But not only that, making sure that both eyebrows are still ensures that the face is symmetrical while speaking. Symmetry is like the most important component for facial attraction, so ideally you want the eyebrows to be as symmetrical as possible.
So you actively make yourself less expressive. Interesting. Because I actually, I feel the opposite way. I feel that men particularly are more attracted to how expressive my face is. In fact, I have received that feedback from men, many men, a lot. And it's because I have very large expressive eyebrows and dimples. My dimples are really cute. So I have to be more expressive because I look better when I'm more expressive. I wonder if that is, I don't know. Obviously, LOOKSMAXXING is a person-by-person basis.
The final term one should know about softmaxing is gua sha, which, if you know, you know. But if you don't, is the one thing on the side of LOOKSMAXXING that has actually, you know, been shown to be rather good.
A gua sha is a tool used for facial massage, which can help to reduce the appearance of wrinkles and fine lines. It works by manually
Oh, so you like this one because you already do it. Got it.
skin
Okay,
in
sure.
order to help your skin produce more collagen. It helps reduce the appearance of puffiness and inflammation, which is amazing if you have puffy under eyes.
I should get one of
It also
these.
helps the circulation
I'm a little
in your
puffy.
face, which reduces dark circles. Overall, an amazing tool to add to your routine, and also pretty relaxing to use.
Maybe the most random part about LOOKSMAXXING is the fact that using gua sha is even part of the equation. It's good that men have discovered gua sha, but one may hope that this doesn't have a negative impact on gua sha, especially when we start getting into hard maxing, because of course they're gonna, these words are literally spelled with 2 X's, and then they've got soft max and hard max. It's just like, y'all just really thinking a lot with your balls. Before I introduce hard maxing, it's worth noting that many of these things are confirmed to be things
We like
recommended
maxing.
in TikToks and on LooksMax forums, but some of them are probably just memes
Literally.
making fun of.
She's literally taking, like, she is culturally appropriating autistic fucking gym bros and their lingo and making this smug little face about it. Oh, what's that? Are you squashing your eyes closer together to give the appearance of hunter eyes while keeping your face somewhat symmetrical? Wow, what are you, wow.
LooksMaxing, but still they've popped up time and again in my research, so I need to bring them up, and I'll do my best to point out if they're for real
Ma'am,
things.
you do
No, the most
way
common
worse shit to your face in order to look like this, okay? I know your eyebrows do not look like that naturally. I know your hair is not, that's not your hair, ma'am. That is not your hair, okay? Let's be real. Let's be real. At least these boys are reshaping the face, right? Their changes are permanent. Your changes are wiped off with a paper towel, you know? You can't be taken swimming on a first date because of this, you know? But these men will look like this forever? Question mark?
hard maxing strategies that are likely happening are steroid use, or they'll call it being on gear, and things like hair transplant.
Oh no. How dare someone take a steroid or a hormone to more accurately conform to their chosen gender identity? Oh no. No one would ever put a chemical in their body to more closely represent their idealized form of appearance, of to accentuate secondary sexual characteristics that they wanted. No one would ever do that. Everyone is just born in the body that they're born in and trapped in it, right? That's exactly how it works. You're not allowed to alter your body in any way, shape, or form, right? Right, Swoop? Right?
And plastic surgery. Another thing I saw pop up time and again in videos and on forums is the concept of edge maxing, which is
okay. I've been defending all of this shit, and I will defend edge maxing too. Don't you dare talk shit about our edgelords.
Find as, quote, "Oh, may the power of Michael B. Jordan be with me as I try to get through this." Oh, here's the quote: "Withholding climaxing in order to boost testosterone to improve appearance." Yeah.
What's wrong with that, Swoop? What's wrong with dudes not jerking off, or jerking off but not finishing, huh? It's an adult in the privacy of their own bedroom. I will defend these boys to the death. Stand behind me, boys. You're safe. I will protect you. You are safe.
Yeah, improve appearance, not what you thought that was going. Now, I'm not sure about the science here, and since I don't really want to talk about the pros and cons of how a dude handles...
This is my manifesto. Edge maxing.
his southern evacuation, and I like being monetized. Just trust me when I say that there's information out there discussing how the evidence is inconclusive on whether this even works, okay? The science...
Let them have fun, okay? Let the boys have fun. It doesn't matter if it works or not, they're having fun, okay? You don't have to be a bitch about it.
Ain't sciencing,
I'm not
it's
calling
conflicting. Chad. Petty University.
You called yourself a
dismissed.
bitch earlier in the video, so I get to call you a bitch. Thank you. God, that fucking music was looping that entire time, and it was killing me. Starve maxing.
Starve maxing. As Kieran Press Reynolds said for Business Insider, it's often difficult to separate genuine suggestions from ironic memes mocking the community. Is starve maxing or intensively restricting your diet a real trend or a satire of the larger trend?
Okay, that's just what people call going on a cut. Like, there's bulking and cutting. Starve maxing is just what you call an aggressive cut. That's all it is.
Starve maxing, if real, is what some call a glamorized ED that focuses on intensely restrictive diet.
Who calls it that? Who are some?
Diets that see some commoners claim to consume 400 calories or less per day. Please don't ever do this. For full context, the average American should be consuming around 2,000 calories daily to maintain
I would go 1,600, but sure.
Weight, and a healthy weight loss diet should only really fall at most between 400 to 500 calories under what is your healthy maintenance weight, and preferably with the guidance of a healthcare professional to make sure that you are still meeting your nutritional needs. But to put it in perspective, for someone to exist on 400 calories per day, that's less than one slice of Pizza Hut Supreme Pizza. In terms of...
Okay, maybe you shouldn't be eating Pizza Hut Supreme Pizza if you're trying to lose weight. Like, if you're trying to lose weight, these bodybuilder boys, they count their macros, they count all their shit. They're way more conscious about their health than anybody else. My roommate Joe, he does this shit. He eats only fucking steamed vegetables and ground turkey and protein powder. That's all he eats.
of non-fatty foods, it's about as many calories as 4 apples per day. And it's really hard to tell just how serious everybody talking about starve maxing is. The truth is, I think at least a few of these are serious, like this guy who seriously lists his starve maxing journey details by saying, quote, "Yesterday I did a full meal. This is beginning to be more of a 1 meal a day diet than just starve maxing. Yesterday I used 0.8416 pounds of ground chuck, and boy, when I went to look at the nutritional facts, it had a..."
He's literally sitting down and eating a pound of meat. He is not starve maxing. He then put 4 scoops of whey, isolated it. He had a meal with 200 grams of protein, 7 Brussels sprouts, a clove of garlic, mushrooms, and then he drained out the fat, and then half an avocado and fish oil pills so that he could get more nutrients. What's wrong with this? He's on a 1 meal a day. He ate over a pound of food. He's not fucking starving himself to death. It's literally just a quasi-ironic fucking name for what they're doing. It's almost like they like to exaggerate everything that they do for the meme. Like, what the fuck?
A lot of fat in it, so I cooked the hell out of it and tried to drain as much fat as possible. To make it more of a complete meal, I added 7 Brussels sprouts, a clove of garlic, and 4...
Notice that she just went over the fact that he put 4 scoops of whey protein,
white button mushrooms into the pan after I drained out a lot of the fat. I also ate half an avocado and had 4 fish oil pills because of the EPA and DHA omega-3 fatty acids they contain. Now,
no, women will never understand, and that's why women should not comment on things such as this. They don't understand the humor, they don't know the lore, and they think that they can label everything problematic or this or that, or, you know, this is why, like, this is what men are doing to become pick-me's and da-da-da-da-da. Like, no. They're just working out. They're just doing a facial exercise to work out these little muscles right here. There's nothing crazy going on until we get to the bone shattering. Then, yeah, I will probably wind up agreeing with her at the bone shattering part.
I might have the math a bit wrong here, but
unless the before and after pics look really good.
0.84 pounds of chuck is around 1,200 calories. Usually, 7 Brussels sprouts is around 38 calories. Garlic clove, 4.5. 4 white button mushrooms, depending on the size, is about 16 to 20 calories. Avocado, 240 calories. 1 meal per day.
Okay. Okay. So that puts him at 1,300, right?
Depending on the size, is about 16 to 20 calories. Avocado.
So 1,265, right? Let's do the math because she didn't. $12.65.
Pounds of chuck is around 1,200 calories. Usually, 7 Brussels sprouts is around 38 calories.
Plus.
Garlic clove, 4.5. 4 white button mushrooms, depending on the size, is about 16 to 20 calories. Avocado, 240 calories. 1 meal per day, our guy seems to be maxing.
Okay, so remember the part where she said that he should be eating around 1,600 calories a day to lose weight safely at a good rate? Wow. Hey, guess what? This is kind of close to what he was working with, right? So here's his whey protein isolate, right? Oh, wow. What do you know? That adds another 400 calories. Because he did 4 scoops. What do you know? He's right at a healthy 2,000 calories for a day. And guess what? He worked out that day, he ran that day, and he did all of this as approximately 1 meal. It doesn't say that he put the fucking protein on his food, so I assume he had it with water or dry scooped it perhaps. More likely dry scooped it throughout the day. So he is literally getting the amount of calories that you're recommending. So he's not starve maxing even. He's not even starve maxing.
Out at about 1,520 calories and all.
Wrong. You didn't do your math right, Swoop. You did not do your math right.
Also, we need to take into comparison that often men require more calories per day.
No, 2,000 is the daily for a man.
Than women or people of smaller frames. So, like, there's a lot of factors here, right? Now, this isn't as dangerous as a 400 calorie day by any means, and many experts agree that if treated responsibly, a 1,500 calorie diet can be effective for weight loss if handled.
Well, good thing he's at a 2,000 calorie day then.
Correctly, again, preferably with an expert. Please don't do anything extreme and put yourself into jeopardy just for your weight. You are beautiful. I just want to remind you of that.
He could eat like this every day of his life and lose very little weight per day, because the only weight he's going to be losing per day, pretty much, is whatever he works off.
And please seek professional help if you're wanting to lose weight. However, back to this guy, this is all one meal. As Healthline puts it, studies suggest that this extreme restriction may lead to increased total and LDL, bad cholesterol, and higher blood pressure levels compared to normal eating patterns or less extreme fasting methods.
Right, but you're not considering the fact that he's dry scooping or supplementing with whey protein throughout the day.
Studies have shown that eating one meal per day may increase fasting blood sugar levels, delay the body's response to insulin, and increase levels of the appetite-stimulating hormone ghrelin compared to eating 3 meals per day. This can lead to extreme hunger. What's more, restricting calories to 1 meal a day may increase the chances of hypoglycemia or low blood sugar, especially in those with type 2 diabetes. In addition,
yeah, well, I'm sure he has fucking type 2 diabetes.
in addition to these potential adverse effects, eating 1 meal a day can lead to symptoms including nausea, dizziness, irritability, low energy, and constipation. The Healthline.
No. I did keto and I did 1 meal a day at the same time. And I felt fucking amazing. It's honestly on a per person basis. Some people are totally fine eating 1 meal a day.
Article then says the part that I really wanted to highlight here, quote, the 1 meal a day diet is also not appropriate for many groups of people, including those who are pregnant or breastfeeding, children and teens, older adults, and people with EDs. If you're taking this kind of restriction seriously.
Now, here's the thing. You are failing to consider the opposite side of the starve maxing spectrum, right? Because obviously there's 2 sides to every coin. She's unaware of the power of bloat maxing. This is the platonic ideal that men are trying to achieve with these fucking extreme diet and exercise regimens. They want to be just like Kriakos. You have to live it. He is the bloat lord, and they will bloat max. I don't want to look like him. I want to be able to do that. Also, I want to be able to scream like that all the time about everything. He's crazy powerful. Everyone loves him. They make fan art of him. All of the fucking TikTok lifter teens are aware of him. The teenagers are bloat maxing. They are not starve maxing. Okay? Let's get that straight. All of the bodybuilder boys are aware that if they want to get big, they have to eat big. And especially since so many of them are focused on height maxing, they know they have to eat a lot of fucking food before their growth plates seal. All right? So, you're, again, debunked. Swoop debunked. Sorry.
this starve maxing, you are likely...
I like your content, but you just don't have the full perspective on what's happening here.
a teen, and you may also be in the early stages of developing an ED, and literally teens should not be doing this period across the board.
Ideally, for a male to maximize their facial aesthetics, you want to get down to about 10% body fat. In this process of my looks maxing journey, I've lost about 20.
I also don't agree with 10% body fat. I like a boy with 12 to 18% body fat.
Pounds. And this is what my current physique looks like. I'd say this is indicative of about 11% body fat. And anything fatter than that, anything over 12% body fat, in my opinion, I would consider you to not be in shape as a man.
This is not good for you by any means, and I hope for the most part this is just a meme, but I also hope that for those joking about this, that they consider the long-term damage being done by turning this into a joke and misleading people into thinking this is not only real but healthy. Okay, so now that I have one of the darker trends out of the way, this leads me to one of the more peculiar looks maxing terms that pops up quite often. Now, I want to throw a disclaimer out that I have absolutely no idea if what I'm about to say is legitimate, and even if I had a way to fact check it, because like how, I probably wouldn't, okay? This is the one time you can quote Swoop as saying, I don't want to fact check this, okay? But it's a term that pops up often in these videos, and so we should probably just go ahead and define it. Jelking.
Again, I want to stress. All right, good night, Jaggle. It's mostly a joke, okay? There are very few, very small minority of people who jelk, but you know, it's not, they just like to joke about it. It's like gooning. Everybody jokes about gooning, but they don't actually goon. Nobody fucking goons. Used by guys who want to make their dings into dongs. Yeah, we covered jelking. We've always talked about jelking.
Stretching exercise. It's a stretching exercise for people with external bits that are, you know, hanging out there and swinging around, to stretch those external bits in order to make those external bits not so bitty. You know, like the sound that a rooster makes, like, you know, like the first syllable of like, can I say penis on YouTube? I don't even know. I'm talking about a penis, okay? Can I say that word? Like in a non-graphic way? Anyways, that's what I'm talking about. People stretching their rooster to create straight up micro tears in the tissue to allegedly stretch it out and make it longer.
Yep.
I hate it here. Now, I even found a safe for YouTube video from a doctor about this. We love our medical facts.
That looks painful.
It is.
This is gonna be fun.
I would not recommend that to a patient of mine, Chad.
Justifying everyone's length quests.
And look, what you described can cause a lot of problems. One is just bruising and pain at the area. You can also get micro tearing, which is not a good thing generally. And finally, there's not a ton of research to support jelking.
This is a shitty thing to do to your itty bitty. Actually, you know what? I do know one person who tried jelking. And
also, listen to her constantly body shame men about this. Fuck you.
They have a level of confidence I truly admire for admitting it in such a public forum.
And I have a personal story in regards to jelking because I have tried it. Like I said, I got most of my advice online, and being an insecure young man, I was miserable. I hated my appearance. I hated pretty much everything about myself. So I thought, why not?
He has a Gamer Subs vending machine now?
So I did it, and I hurt myself. And I think I told a story not too long ago where I did like a pseudo jelking exercise one time and actually had to go to the walk-in clinic because I could no longer piss. Basically what happened is I damaged everything internally in my... like just threw everything out of whack. It was all cattywampus, and I was no longer able to pee, and it swelled up like a giant head of cauliflower. And that is something that does happen with jelking.
Wow. That was delightful. Honestly, y'all.
Thank you, Charlie. Very cool.
I missed the time before I knew what jelking was. I'm sorry. Listen, okay, I don't have a swinging... I don't have a I don't know what it's like having one. I don't know how y'all walk around with
great.
those things.
It's
just
fun.
like hanging out. So take this for whatever it's worth. Don't do this. Like seriously, stop and reevaluate your life choices and just.
How about you don't tell men what to do with their bodies? How about that? No, I don't joke. How about you don't tell men what to do with their bodies and how to be confident in themselves, right?
Choose something else, okay? I'm done. Okay, somebody please get me out of here. Now, other than these sillier terms and a few others that I'll get into in a bit, we have to ask, does looks-maxing work? The simple answer.
Why is she beating men down here? Because she's bro-phobic. She's bro-phobic. Under the guise of trying to care about men's health, she is, you know, demeaning and belittling them and misunderstanding their inside jokes and disregarding things like the existence of protein powder. I don't know, man. She has to make content, so she's doing this. And you know I like Swoop. Like, I like her videos. I enjoy watching her videos, but she is very, very off the mark here. So
Answer for a lot of this is yes. Like having a better diet, cleaning yourself up, and focusing on your health is a tried and true method that will have outstanding effects on your physical and mental health.
Great. Right. That's all they're doing. That's literally all they're doing. They just come up with funny little names for it, and they exaggerate how hard they're doing it. That's all it is. That is all it fucking is. Fucking, God, I'm in my homophobic bodybuilder group chat, right? I'm in the group chat. What is the last thing that they said they were fucking maxing? Let me find out. Ah, here we go. I've got one. Someone posted this green text, right? One of my bodybuilder boys posts this green text. Stop using soap of any kind while showering. Only shower using ice cold water. Armpits reek. Have a very strong dick cum aroma due to me edging every night for 1 to 2 hours for test boost. Edge maxing. Women literally go completely out of their way to work out next to me in the gym. Caught a couple of women taking very long and heavy sniffs around me, going away and then coming back and doing the same thing again. Women constantly smiling at me now and try to initiate conversation. This shit is fucking real, bros. We are all animals at the end of the day. So this is titled pheromone maxing, but in the group chat he said stank maxing. Does that mean that this is a harmful trend that's damaging young men and convincing them not to fucking shower so that women will talk to them? No. It's just dudes fucking joking around about not fucking showering. Like, what the fuck? It's not about anything else. They're just having a fucking laugh. That probably wasn't even a real story. I just don't know why she has to take all of this so seriously. The dude who was starve maxing was consuming 2,000 calories a day.
But as far as trying to completely reshape your body to look like somebody you're not,
I really gotta pee. I'll be right
I've
back.
been looks-maxing all summer. I'm ready to get these chicks.
You look the exact same.
This alone exposes.
Because it's a joke! They're joking! So, like, alright. While I was peeing, I remembered. Another term, of course, because everything, you can be mogged at anything. You can max anything, and anything can be a pill, right? So, I have previously made the joke that I piss max, right? Now, piss maxing is the act of drinking a bunch of water and liquids and whatever the fuck, beer, until you really, really have to piss, right? And then going to the public restroom and waiting until someone has started pissing. Like, you go into the bathroom and you start pissing, and then someone else starts pissing after you, right? And if you're still pissing after they finish pissing, so you're pissing before and after them, you have piss mogged that person. because you're a powerful piss maxer. You see what I mean? It asserts your dominance over them. Does that mean anything? No. Is there TikToks about it? No, because I made it up. But is it a real thing that I do? And do I absolutely say and think those things to myself when I do it? Yes, absolutely I do. So, like, you just let guys be guys. Stop being so fucking bro-phobic, okay?
Is the first big problem with LOOKSMAXXING, other than the reliance on strange pseudoscience like mewing and complete nonsense like jelking. It's set up to make you fail, almost by design, by implying that you can completely change everything about yourself that makes you unhappy by following a highly specific set of instructions, and of course, making it rain on those highly specific things like Mogwarts courses or hawkery clothing or self-help books or whatever the hell bullshit day someone's trying.
Oh, yeah. How dare anyone buy a self-help book or course?
Trying to push. LOOKSMAXXING in and of itself isn't a grift, since a grift would imply one person or people pushing it on you, but it has the capacity to be weaponized by grifters to put—
Oh my god. Doesn't everything have the potential to be weaponized by grifters? Like, what?
Push on you. So that's the
yeah,
first—
no, literally. I'll go to the like public restroom, not like the employee restroom or one of the private ones. I'll go in there. And if I'm pissing and somebody gets in the stall next to me and they start pissing and I beat them, I'll be like, yeah, get fucking piss-mogged, loser.
Big problem. The second big problem was brought up by Curtis Connor.
Yeah, I found it really weird.
Wait. The male hive mind has activated. Just piss-mogged this dude. Couldn't start his stream till I walked away. Just piss-mogged some cuck at the bar. Life's like pottery. It rhymes. Just absolutely piss-mogged some cuck at the urinal, afraid to let go with the absolute dominion of my stream. I myself was going in the sink. Door open while pissing. Who even is this? Why is this fish tank? Just got piss-mogged by a Japanese dude who was barely even 5 foot. Pulled up next to me and unloaded a fire hose stream. Okay, so I didn't invent it. I came up with it, or I pulled it out of the male hive mind. Get piss-mogged bladder cells. Getting piss-mogged in the gender-neutral bathroom by a shoddy with a superior pelvic floor. Getting piss-mogged by guzzle chads. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Twitter, for not only backing me up on some pointless bullshit about how men turn everything into one of these terms, but perfectly encapsulating it. Alright, what does piss-maxing get us? This one I'm not going to show until I've scrolled it, because you never know what you might see. Guzzling water before a urine test. Call it piss-maxing. Real. Very, very real. Very true. Oh, there's a person called @piss-maxing. Okay. Max and I will be starting a podcast called Piss-maxing. Piss-maxing King. Pissed so hard, I pulled a cock muscle. Great. Great. That's really good. That's really good. But yes, everything I just said as a joke was 100% confirmed to be real.
Your TikTok account where they give like extremely detailed reviews on how attractive certain men are.
How attractive is Cillian Murphy? Cillian has equal facial thirds, blue eyes with a positive canthal tilt, low set, thick, and slightly positively tilted eyebrows. His jawline visibility is excellent. He has a wide lower third. He's got high set cheekbones and a good mid-face ratio. He has full lips. His hair texture is good, and his skin has a great complexion.
Okay, like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you saying? Also, I'll have
What do you mean? He's just analyzing a man's face.
you know, at the end of this video, they don't even say no homo, so
You have a weak lower third. That's why you're jealous.
what the fuck? Like, these people are so obsessed with all having the exact same type of face. Is it
No. They don't want all the exact same type of face. They just want to know what is on their face that they can max.
shaped, same eyes, same lips, same fucking... That's boring, dude. Wake up, sheeple.
This is the interesting thing about looksmaxing in general to me. It's a vision of conformity, of men having to look one specific way with slight deviations here and there, which does nothing but remind me of the Kardashian aesthetic, which has run so rampant that when I open social media, the trending face and body of a lot of women all looks exactly the same to me. This is literally no shade to anybody, but this is just like an observation. I just kind of feel like a lot of people all found the same plastic
Do
surgeon.
the corners of your eyes tilt up or down? Or are they even?
And they're just like, I'll have what she's having. Okay, thanks. That looks great. Let's do it tomorrow. Okay. Can't wait. I don't know. Maybe it's human nature. It might entirely be that, where it just seems like oftentimes no one really wants to have looks that are outside of this very tiny bubble. And then oftentimes, even when people think that they're like in a counterculture, that counterculture has millions of people who are like that as well. But it's all about this one look, one perfect eyeline, one perfect jawline. Hair is conditional, clothes are conditional, but basically every man has to look like this or they're f***ed. And not in the way they're trying to get by doing this. Now, I've used the term Giga Chad throughout this video, and that's a term Alpesh Al defines as an individual who is regarded as being particularly macho, physically.
No, Giga Chad is literally
now I've used as
that
an
guy
individual
you
who is
just showed a
regarded as
picture
being
of.
particularly macho, physically alluring, and socially powerful. Typically, this word is used to refer to guys who are at the pinnacle of masculine attractiveness and social standing, and who are in high demand by
No, she said it like once early on in the
women.
fucking doc.
I'm sorry. I just, the way these red pill bros keep tripping over themselves to get a date. Like, brah. Like, I don't, I promise you ain't gotta do all of that. It's real simple, my guy. If you want to get a date, don't be a dick. Thank you. I know. You're all just, yes, I know, groundbreaking. Just give me a plaque, or make a statue in my own. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. As you've seen in videos, and as you'll see when we get to the forums, a lot of this relies on holding yourself up to be shown off and rated by your peers on what a good job you've done looksmaxing. What a good boy. Now, there's
No, those forums are weird. That shit's weird.
a term for this. It's been around since the dawn of time, with the most popular use being to shame women, but I'm pretty sure it applies here, even though I feel like most looksmaxing boys aren't gonna like it. But it's real simple. You are a pick-me boy. Usually the term is pick-me girl and refers to a woman who longs for attention and approval from a specific group. It's a term used derogatorily against girls trying to be, one of the boys.
The red pill dudes are the ones that we make fun of for being like MGTOWs. You remember, like men going their own way, and the guys with the little cringe little rings, and they make the little they have like that little podcast that they put out every week, and they pay Mr. Red Pill dad man with the nasally voice to to answer their questions. They pay him like several $100s to answer their questions. So we don't like the red pills, but their forums are not like being accessed by the entire TikTok teens community.
Boys, and also about self-loathing women who spend their time on other women. A good example of this would be the queen of the pick-me's, Hannah Pearl Davis. Yeah, who is a female member of the manosphere and a future subject of an upcoming Swoop doc. Yes,
she's
Hannah, that one was put together a while ago and just haven't released it yet. Y'all are gonna love it. She's like the female Andrew Tate, except way more obnoxious, which is a feat unto itself because Andrew Tate is unbearable. So with the rise of looksmaxxing, we find the interesting rise of the pick-me boy, a heterosexual man who, like these stereotypes,
probably because they get her views. I don't know. We could call that problematic. We could say that she's dressing for the male gaze. We could say that she's sexualizing the documentary. Yeah, I like the shirt too, but I'd look better in it.
Typical pick-me girl also craves the attention of heterosexual men for validation, not women. I'm not even joking.
I literally have pick-me boys in some of the classes I teach where they're like, can I get your Snapchat? I'm probably too ugly. Oh, I can actually, oh no, I'm ugly. And it's not the ones that feel bad about themselves. It's like the ones that want a compliment. What is this? Nobody does this. Have some confidence. I can't.
So true.
Hey, you want me to put my whole face in the camera? I gotta warn you, I'm looking pretty rough right now. All right, brace yourself for ugliness.
This is quite an interesting turn of events since at its core, looksmaxxing seems to be about men improving themselves for the validation of women, but with this rating system,
this looksmaxxers would be beating the shit out of these pick-me boys is what I'm going with. These pick-me boys should be bullied, actually.
And with the hyperfixation on the male form, often in ways that straight women don't give one single shit about the truth.
Oh, what's that? That's so weird. So men are obsessive about changing their bodies in ways that women don't care about and won't notice, right? But when women are obsessive about changing their bodies in ways that men won't notice, that's good, and they're allowed to do it, and it's just for them. Or if they're doing it even though men won't notice it, it's because of the patriarchy, right? Like, it's the patriarchy is forcing them to thread their eyebrows and put on fake lashes and wear fake nails because men love that stuff, right? That's what it's all about. But when a man, fucking trims his neck beard and wears sunscreen and does a jaw exercise, like, all of a sudden it's bad, it's wrong. Like, why is this all being framed in this way where everything that these boys are doing, regardless of whether it's even a real thing that they're doing or not, is just bad and terrible? When the only thing I've seen so far that is bad and terrible are these little pick-me boys who are like, ooh, those ones I don't like. That should be stopped. Put them on fucking testosterone. But but you can't use steroids.
Truth is, these are straight men posing for other straight men to be.
It's called a hobby.
Rated by those other straight men.
Are you being homophobic right now? Are you saying that there is something inherently homosexual in the male form that makes it not okay for men to try to, be physically fit in such a way as to win a competition about it? Like, what is your point here? What are you getting at here? This entire documentary is just so misandrist. It really is. It's like, I get it. You're a woman. You don't have the lived experience of men. But like, as a gay man, let me tell you, I am not attracted to this or this or this. This guy's kind of fine. This guy's all right. But like, this is not a turn on for me, right? And in no way is what is happening here sexual. This is a competition. They're competing. It's a hobby. It's a job. Sort of. I mean, you can make a little bit of money doing it. You can't like live off of it, but you can make some money. You just don't understand like men's natural competitiveness and like want to feel strong and powerful, you know? Men love that shit.
And it's just like, y'all, I don't know. Maybe I should be grateful that these dudes finally took a break from rating every square inch of women's bodies. And for some...
Oh, okay. So you're assuming that because they are critical of their own bodies, you're just assuming that these men are like going out, catcalling women, you know, being assholes to women, when they've done nothing. Like, verifiably, not verifiably, but no evidence that you have presented in this section has shown that the men who are hypercritical of their own bodies pass off that hypercriticality onto any women whatsoever.
Some reason thought it would be healthy to do it to themselves. We are in a weird Twilight Zone world, and honestly, I don't think any of this is good for anybody.
It's not good for men to be muscular and strong. It's not good for men to clean their faces, wear sunscreen, shave, whiten their teeth, generally have a balanced diet. What are you talking about? What are you doing here? What is your problem with men? Unironically, like, the more of this documentary I watch, the more upset I get at her. Because it really does seem that she's just reaching for the single worst faith version of any give and take she could have.
And I don't wish this on anyone. I don't wish it upon men, women, theys, gays, non-binaries, trans. I don't wish anyone to go through feeling like they have to post photos of themselves and get rated in order to feel like they belong in society and like they are attractive or desirable or worthy. It's really, the whole thing is really sad to me for everybody across the board.
Okay, so when's your Onision documentary coming out then?
But let me ask the question, what does it all mean? If I had my detective hat on, I would say that this sounds like the foundation for good old internet trolling. We want to look at it from that angle. But before...
It's not trolling, it's a shared in-joke. It's a shared cosmos of in-jokes that you don't understand.
I put my detective hat on. I want to cover one of the more controversial terms associated with looksmaxxing since...
Okay, so here's where we're going to get to the bone smashing. Here's where I'm going to start agreeing with Swoop again, probably.
It segues pretty well into the next section. Bone smashing, which is where you smash the bones in your face.
Okay, but what if we get into this and it's like they don't even smash the bones? It's just like, okay, we're going to use our derma roller today. And it's just like, oh, okay, it's just more like facial care.
Usually with a hammer in the hopes that you'll heal and look more masculine. What the f is happening? Not even Pete Davidson can save you from this beer-battered bullshit. I don't know why I said that. Allegedly, this is something that was once adopted by at least a few early looksmaxxers, and you'll see widespread media coverage about it everywhere from Daily Mail to early looksmaxxers, and you'll see widespread media coverage about it everywhere from Daily Mail.
Disturbed young men and women-hating incel cult are hammering their faces. Okay.
Mail to Vice warning about the perils of bone smashing, as if it's not obvious, but I guess to some people it's not. One documentary produced for Channel 4 actually saw journalist Ben Zan meet a few folks that allegedly did this.
They have these kind of, and because they are all quite low and they're looking for fast answers and their lives aren't going well and they already feel pain because their life's not going well, they are prepared to do just things that, is not advisable by science and isn't really going to achieve many results. So, we saw a bunch of people who were literally hammering themselves in the face to redefine their jaws. It was kind of frustrating because you're standing there and you're like, why are you focusing so much time on that? Such random specific things that aren't really going to do anything, when it's like, get outside, meet people, hang out with some people.
Now, when we speak about the recent trend of looksmaxxing on TikTok, there's...
Okay, so they haven't really shown us the bone smashing yet. Do you think that's actually I broke my jaw so that I could set it in such a way to make it look better? Or do we think it's I take my little the face roller and you just kind of tap it a lot and you just kind of do that? Do we think it's like that?
Actually no evidence that modern looksmaxers are adopting bone smashing techniques, and when it gets
okay, so there's no evidence that it's
brought
even
up
happening.
in more niche forums, it's usually discouraged or treated as a joke. Some sources say it's fake because of this lack of modern evidence, but the truth is, just because the evidence isn't modern doesn't mean these terms aren't accurate things that have happened.
Okay, but hun, remember the pissmaxing segment from just a minute ago? What if we go back to Twitter, of course, and we do let's just pick a word. Let's do salmon, right? What if we're salmon maxing? Is it a real thing? Whoa. Yes. Apparently salmon maxing, real thing. Apparently salmon maxing. Haters will say, you don't need that much protein, but they don't know I'm salmon maxing. You need to be salmon maxing. You need to be swimming upstream from the ocean to the river where you were born. You need to turn red and fuck, then die immediately. Salmon maxing is a really harmful trend that's happening in these niche fish maxing subforums. And we don't have any evidence that it's actually happening, but people have talked about it. So therefore, because the term has ever been used on the internet, it's probably happening. It's probably real. And that's bad.
At the very least, looksmaxxing and all of these terms, even if they seem new, have existed on the internet for about a decade. Yeah, but all of that aside, I think it's time that we shift to my favorite part of this bizarre universe.
Yeah? Incel maxing. Oh, good. Good. So here's where we're going to talk about true cells, fake cells, etc. Because again, anything can be a cell.
Yes, friends, just like every other sad ball sack of a toxic story, it seems that looksmaxxing originated with incels. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, not to worry.
Because the incels, 4chan, and weird fucking bodybuilder forums created every single internet meme ever. I'm so sorry, but they are just funnier than you.
I've got
funnier
you covered.
Than me.
Incel, like looksmaxxing, is a portmanteau, a combining of the words involuntary and celibate. Incel.
Yes. And it was originally used to describe women, who were very ugly and therefore involuntarily celibate, and then later it was co-opted by the male incel community.
And since then,
you'd think that those two communities could kind of cross over and just solve each other's problems, but no.
Of that word has evolved.
Now the term is femcel.
In wildly different directions over the years, but the simplest way to explain an incel is they're a person, usually a man, frustrated by a lack of sexual experience. And when I say incels have evolved from that initial meaning, I mean it, and they would probably be pissed if they knew the real origins. The Anti-Defamation League, or the ADL, have monitored
oh my god, these fucking hacks.
incels as a form of extremists and or
only a few of them are. It's not that they're all fucking terrorists. It's just that they're a bunch of weirdos who can't get laid and they like to shitpost about it on the internet. It's not that big of a deal.
referring to incels,
except for obviously Elliot Rogers,
as heterosexual men who blame.
No, incels is any gender. It's not any gender, any sexuality.
Women and society for their lack of romantic success. And the thing is, like I said, they might be pissed if they like really knew the origins of this, because so many incels just seem to really hate women or have a great disdain. But what's even more wild is that the term incel was actually essentially started by a woman in the 90s named Alana, who created the website Alana's Involuntary Celibacy Project, where others would use the term incel to describe feeling socially awkward. It was supposed to be pretty like, you know, just innocent. We're just chatting about feeling awkward. And it's just
no, there was a small community online of women who were involuntarily celibate, and that's where the term originally came from.
It's like, imagine that, another thing created by a woman, taken over by a subset of angry bros who blame women for all their problems.
Brophobia on full display yet again. Can you go 2 minutes in this documentary without demeaning or harassing men? No, you can't.
And then goes on to be a threat to society. Shocking! Now, because of this wide valley between boy who can't get laid.
Are you shaming men for their mental health issues, Swoop?
And commits actual crimes and horrible things. Incel has also evolved into an insult to describe anybody with misogynistic beliefs. Now listen, the reality is not all incels are out there causing all kinds of harm, and we don't want to just like throw broad generalizations at them. They're not all misogynist, but enough of them are.
Oh really? Because you just threw that exact generalization like 4 times since the start of the segment, which was only like 2 minutes ago.
Are that the word incel has come to mean somebody very, very dangerous. In 2022, the journal Current Psychiatry Reports outlined incel ideology simply. They believe in, quote, an appearance-based hierarchy in which how one looks is considered the most essential key to both sexual relationships and one's place in society. They have a belief in female hypergamy, the notion that women are too sexually selective and use their privilege and sexuality for social advancement above all else. And they have a dislike of feminism because it promoted and encouraged women to have a deserved right to sexual agency. So there has been much discussion in incel forums dedicated to the reversal of gender equity. Many of the proposed solutions involve some form of coercion, R-word, or a complete return to enforced monogamy under strict patriarchal rule. Yes.
That is accurate. The incel forums are pretty wild.
Yes. How dare
they do be
the
talking
women out
about
here just be selective about who we give our bodies to? Ha! The audacity! Ha! Now, let me make what I'm saying here, like, clear. The term was created on incel forums. It was popular in incel forums. It spread throughout those parts of the internet for nearly a decade before it mysteriously broke out on TikTok. LOOKSMAXXING unequivocally is a term made by incels for incels, and this, friends, is why LOOKSMAXXING is raising a lot of...
Was that Connor Murphy?
For incels, and this, friends, is why...
Is that Connor Murphy? No. It's Nick Bateman. Okay, he looks like Connor Murphy, though.
LOOKSMAXXING is raising a lot of eyebrows these days. Incel culture is intrinsically tied to internet culture, but what's another big part of internet culture that relates to angry men? That's right. Don't forget to take your vitamins. It's the red pill bros.
You have this huge red pill community online, and you must be familiar with the red pill community.
I'm vaguely familiar with them.
Their whole
Okay, she pitched his voice up like that on purpose to make it funny. It is pretty funny. He does have a funny voice.
Thinking is that feminism is oppressing men?
No, their whole thinking is that radical social justice warriors are polarizing society. So you can't accuse the red pill society of holding viewpoints that are even vaguely commensurate with people who commit crimes of that magnitude. There's nothing fair about that at all. It has nothing to do with antipathy towards women.
Now, as CNN puts it, and this is a longer but very illuminating quote, one of the most important symbols of the incel community is the idea of a red pill or a blue pill. This metaphor is taken from the 1999 movie The Matrix, in which Keanu Reeves' character Neo must choose between taking a blue pill, which will keep him in a state of peaceful ignorance, or the red pill, which will awaken him to an uncomfortable but enlightening reality. For instance,
right, yes, taking the red pill is realizing, like, the incel social hierarchy stuff. But, like, okay, I'll just let her keep going.
The reality presented to them by the red pill is that love and sexual satisfaction are commodities, that women deny them, and that women, not men, control the sexual aspects of society. Someone tell that to men, because why are they the ones who are doing the SA more than anyone? Sorry, let me get back to the quote. Under this assumption, and relationships become almost like a game with specific challenges to overcome. When people are described as red pilled, it means they have accepted this reality. The metaphor of red pills and blue pills is also used among other groups associated with the alt-right, including QAnon believers and other conspiracy theorists. Great group to hang out with. Now,
that's why anything can be pilled. That's why anything can be a pill.
another thing that you might not be surprised to find out about incels is that they are intrinsically tied to the part of the internet known as the manosphere, the place where
yes, I do love.
Men are taught to be real men. Men's rights activists, or MRAs, alpha male influencers, even pickup artists, though I did recently discover incels and PUAs, pickup artists, have a long-standing beef that is very, very amazing and incredibly tragically off topic, so I can't get into it, but man, is it a good time over there. The truth is, all of these things boil down to similar misogynistic viewpoints that present women as both the enemy and something that should be a submissive little prize. It's always amazing to me, like, men like this, and obviously never when I talk about these topics do I apply this type of stuff to all men, because all of the men that I know are absolutely incredible human beings. I know so many amazing men. I love them. I love men. Okay, they're great.
All right, listen, Swoop, I will agree with you here. Men. I love men. They're perfect. Men are everything. They are the best. Anyway, men.
And then there's some that really suck, just like, you know, anything. But it's just always amusing to me that men are like, women are the enemy, women have all of the privilege, which I can't even say with a straight face, and women are denying us their bodies or whatever, and then they go out of their way and do all of these things to get us. It's like, you hate us, but you want us, you hate us, but you're doing all of these things to yourself and your body and your health and your happiness to get us. And again, it doesn't take all of that. Again, say it with me. If you want to get a date, don't be a dick. All of this targets the same demographic. Young men who are searching for a deeper sense of self and searching for meaning in a world that they feel increasingly not part of. That is something that we should be addressing. That CNN article from earlier does a pretty good job of outlining the many ways incels and red pill ideology are tied together, but another thing it does is define incel slang. And it has to do with one more common belief, maybe the most important to understanding LOOKSMAXXING, the black pill phenomenon. Seriously, man, these dudes just be the red pill.
They make pills. What do you want? Everything is a pill, a cell, or a maxing, okay?
Blue pill, the black pill. Okay, like take your vitamins. Let's move on. I'll let newamerica.org define this. So, quote, beginning around 2016, misogynist incel forums began to shift from a red pill to an increasing black pill mentality. This belief system affects the red pill view of society dominated by women, but rejects individual level attempts such as learning game to achieve a sexual relationship with women as misguided, asserting that only change at a societal level has the possibility to be effective. Black pill adherence.
Yeah, the black pill is also kind of like the men's rights activist, where you're a man going their own way, where they just are like, I'm never dating a woman again. I'm only going to hook up with women at bars, and then I'll never, ever speak to a woman outside of that specific scenario ever again, because they just want to marry me and take half my shit, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We watched a lot of the fucking red pill junkie videos, and he's a fucking loser, so.
Believe that looks are genetically determined and that women choose sexual partners based solely on physical features. Wow, y'all are just so wrong about so many things. I'm just like, what if you just talk to us and ask what we like and what we want?
Well, a lot of them can't. They have crippling social anxiety. They're called brain cells, get it? Because they might even physically be like quite attractive, but it's their own social anxieties and apprehensions about talking to women that is preventing them from doing that. So again, you're harassing men for their mental health issues. So that's really cool. Thanks, Swoop.
Just cut to the chase, man. Go to the source. Back to it. So whether or not a person will be an incel is predetermined. Misogynist incels attempt to prove the truth of the black pill through misreadings of scientific studies, online dating data sets, and their own experiments to prove that women only care about a man's physical looks. The article goes on to explain that truly black-pilled individuals wouldn't believe in looksmaxing and reject it as a solution. However, comma, it's a big comma. It's important to note that looksmaxers, especially on their forums, lean very heavily into rhetoric that cusps on black pill ideology. You see this in the newsamerica.org article, which continues by saying, quote, the black pill philosophy typically offers only two options for what to do with their new accepted reality: accept their fate as an incel or try to change society to their benefit. For those who choose to accept their black pilled fate, unaliving is often presented as the most inevitable solution. It is also encouraged in misogynist incel communities as a form of sacrificial harm and or martyrdom. Incels talk about potential harm, giving up hope, or
it's over.
Unaliving by using phrases such as rope, LDAR, which is lay down and rot, or suiful. Suiful, it's over, brutal, and it never began are popular responses to tags for posts that members feel exemplify the truth of the black pill. But it gets worse. Like when you connect incels and looksmaxing psychology, suddenly it all starts to make sense. For instance, another very common incel belief is in phrenology, a pseudoscientific idea that the size and shape of someone's skull determines
there we go. We finally circled around to phrenology.
Not only a person's mental abilities, but their character. This is actually something that, fun fact, was used by the abhorrent Nazis, a group whose name I am only going to say that one time, and they used this to identify Jewish people. As the Daily Dot puts it, quote, the incels who created looksmaxing used some of the same metrics as the N regime. They reportedly gathered the anatomical and facial skeletal structure data on multiple men who were seen as exceptionally handsome. The men were mostly white supermodels. As a result, the goals of looksmaxing skew heavily in favor of Caucasian features. Shocking, once again. Now,
well, phrenology was just the idea of using skull shape and size to determine a person's attributes. They didn't just do it to white people. But also, it does go hand in hand with physiognomy.
Oh, there's another thing that the N-holes believed in that is widely discredited today. Something looksmaxing has a lot in common with eugenics. Yes,
Oh.
friends, we've now entered the
Eugenics.
eugenics pit of hell in today's doc.
But Mrs. Slee, in this country, having babies is the only thing left which is both unrationed and untaxed. Do you think we really ought to stop?
Well, I suppose a subject like that is really so personal that it's entirely up to the parents to decide. But from my view, I believe that there should be no more babies.
The term eugenics is basically a set of beliefs and practices that aim to improve the
No more
genetic quality
babies.
of a human population. Historically, by excluding people and groups judged to be inferior and promoting those judged to be superior.
I swear, y'all, I'm just like, the more I go over this stuff, I just keep thinking this is a bunch of really sad, hurt boys and men, and they just need help, and like they just need to know that it's okay to talk about how they're feeling instead of
They are talking about how they're feeling, and you're shitting all over them for it this entire documentary. That's been my whole point. That has been my whole point. Oh my God.
resorting to mindsets and groupthink like this in the incel community and how that gets like just out of control in so many instances. I just hope that we continue to carve out safe spaces for all types of individuals, for women and girls, for non-binary, for trans, for men, boys, to be able to just express what they're feeling and their
Yeah. And then you go there and you read them in the depths of their depressions, expressing how they're feeling, saying that they feel like, well, I'm ugly, no one's ever going to love me, I should kill myself, and you fucking bully them. You release an 1.5 hour long documentary fucking harassing them. You make fun of the size of their dicks, you make fun of, you know, their fucking inside jokes with their little friends. You make fun of the only small niche little places where they feel that they can express themselves. What do you actually want? Like, what do you actually want?
hurt in a safe way, people take it seriously, and then we can really address the root of all of this, which is really just feelings of insecurity, inadequacy, self-hate. All of those things are the root, I think, of like every ill and evil in society, and we really should just place more emphasis on mental health treatment. But anyways, let me get back to it. So here's a
But do you actually, like...
quote from Oxford: the study of how to arrange reproduction within a human population to increase the occurrence of heritable characteristics regarded as desirable. Developed largely by Sir Francis Galton as a method of improving the human race, eugenics was increasingly discredited as unscientific and racially biased during the 20th century, especially after the adoption of its doctrines by the nasties in order to justify their treatment of Jews, disabled people, and other minority groups. Now, I'm not saying that looksmaxing, as you've seen it on your TikTok For You page, is the modern day eugenics, and looksmaxers aren't all, you know, nasties and whole affiliated. Most of the kids participating...
Yeah, they're just taking care of their skin and holding their tongue in their mouth a certain way, ma'am. They're just doing skin care. They just have inside jokes. There's nothing going on. Like, it's not that deep. It's really not.
Looksmaxing on TikTok are honestly probably just trying to fit into an ever-changing society that seems completely allergic to the idea that human beings should just be able to exist how we were born without needing to change their aesthetics every 3 to 5 business days and twice on Christmas.
You're so right, Swoop. Everyone should just be born the exact way they're born and not be allowed to change any of their own features to their own taste. At all. That's a great take. That's a really good take. No more anything. Sorry. Like, what? Either all of it is okay or none of it is okay. You know what I mean? Like, you either allow people the option to change and resculpt their body to express who they feel they are on the inside, and you allow, you know, men to have a cute little skincare routine and use a little rock on their face and accentuate their jawlines and make themselves feel more masculine and more confident and more secure, or nobody gets to do anything. You know, nobody gets to make themselves feel more feminine or make themselves feel beautiful or change their hair color. You weren't born with that hair color. You weren't born with those eyelashes. So why are you changing them? You're doing a lot more work than they're doing to change the way you look. So why aren't they allowed to do the same? Why aren't they allowed to make themselves feel handsome?
Boys think it's some kind of fun TikTok trend, and that's probably much healthier that they just think it's a fun thing. But even then, why do we have to change the aesthetic all of the time? In fact, like when you look at the more popular looksmaxers on TikTok right now, like Dylan Latham, that's all it really is.
Your teeth have a yellow tint. Let me save your life. So my teeth used to be yellow as well, but now here's my credentials. It looks like I'm walking around with the white teeth filter on, and it's really easy. So here's exactly what I did. First things first, I've tried whitening strips. They work, but they're overpriced. The absolute best products are whitening gels. This one specifically is the one I used. It's called Night White. Basically, you need a teeth mold like this, and you put the gel in there. In 14 days, your teeth are the most white they will ever be in your life.
But there are...
So he's saving people money on teeth whitening. Is okay. What's wrong with that? Is that a problem?
Are simply too many similarities between these ideologies to ignore. One perfect appearance, a white man with a chiseled jaw, perfectly...
You're glossing over all the black people you just watched do this exact trend?
Groomed, a reliance on phrenology, and a
So men aren't allowed to brush their hair. Got it.
Belief that genetics are tied to a kind of dominance being predetermined. And in reality, with the sheer amount of racism being discussed in some of these forums, because yeah, of course, I believe that these fun TikToks are gateways to something a lot darker than people realize. And this stuff, even if it's just fun, can really fester and f up the mind if you are focused so much on this all of the time. Take it from someone who knows. I know what it's like to look at my appearance all of the time and scrutinize everything about myself. I'm on camera all of the time. Of course, I scrutinize everything. And when you keep doing that over and over and over and over and over and over, it f***s up with a lot of things up here. It's not good. All it really...
So them doing it casually, a little bit, sometimes, is worse than you doing it all day, every day. Make it make sense.
What it really takes is clicking on the wrong hashtag, Googling the wrong term, or seeing the wrong influencer to end up on the truly wrong side of the hashtag. I'm looking at you, Andrew Tater Tot.
We are living inside of the Matrix, and I'm Morpheus.
And on this much darker side are places like the original LOOKSMAXXING forums. Now, there are two of these forums I want to discuss today. The first one is LOOKSMAXXING.com, a relatively newer paid membership forum run by three men named Dean Robertson, Nihilus, and Tim. Just Tim. Tim. The forum's mission statement is, quote, "At LOOKSMAXXING, we understand the way you look plays an important role in all aspects of life, whether it be securing a dream job, making a strong first impression, or boosting self-confidence. The way you present yourself to the world matters immensely. Our mission is to empower men all across the globe with the knowledge and tools to enhance their personal appearance." Of the two forums that I'm looking at today, this is the more benign forum. But what I did find alarming were the number of posts from literal kids looking to LOOKSMAXX. Hey, I'm 14, 5'6", Latino, and been recently going on a bulk. Last time I weighed myself was 2 weeks ago, and I came around at 135 pounds. Should I even gym max while my goal is being attractive at 15? I'm 13. Are there any tips to use to glow up? 14 male, please rate me and share some tips to improve my looks. It's so f***ing weird to me to see boys and men intentionally going out of their way to be rated and scrutinized for their looks the way that many have been doing to women without our consent since the dawn of time.
So when are you dropping your Onision documentary? Sorry. When is the Onision documentary coming out? Can we get that? Can we get that one before we start talking about this?
I'm not going to show the photo of this kid, but the comments are quite interesting. 5.8 out of 10. Your body looks good. Focus on improving the shoulder to waist ratio. Regarding your face, you have some masculine features and you can improve your jaw and chin more. And do something with acne, says one commenter. Another says, you look upset in that photo. A bad attitude won't go a long way, especially in high school. Besides, that 6.5 out of 10 decent physique for your age. Work on acne. Wait, hold.
Smile. Brighten up your face. Use some face wash. This is malicious, negative advice from the incels.
Oh, hold on, okay. When a dude says, like, you look upset in that photo, is that like the bro-maxing way of saying you should smile more?
Can you stop being bro-phobic for, like, 2 minutes?
Like they do to women so often. Okay, interesting.
Interesting. European style.
Now, I said earlier that I would explain these ratings. These are called PSL ratings, or proportion size lineating ratings, and this is where the phrenology I mentioned earlier comes in. As the LOOKSMAXX forum states, quote, PSL ratings were created as a way of being able to determine one's aesthetic value and applying beauty standards to a rating system based solely on their face. There are a few ratings to understand when we go through these posts. PSL 4 is saying a face has 50% perfection. Anything lower is considered substandard. PSL 8, according to the forum, is equivalent to 99.9968%, but 8 PSL is human perfection, which is impossible to achieve. In actuality, 7+ PSL ratings are even rarer than described as, you know, in the above percentiles as well. The majority of people fall anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 on the PSL scale. Now, there's also an alternative ranking system where the boys are ranked as an LTN or low tier normie, MTN or mid tier normie, an HTN or high tier normie, and then it goes on, a Chad light, a Chad, or a Giga Chad, which as far as LOOKSMAXX forums go, this place is a bit strange, especially given that many of the participants—
Wait, how'd he do that? Look at him.
LOOKSMAXX forums go, this place is a bit—
Look at the difference in his skin. He really fucking did that shit.
It's strange,
Good for him.
especially given that many of the participants are children, but not all of them. So now, not only do we have dudes rating dudes.
Okay, well maybe parents should be monitoring what their kids do online, you know? Maybe that's a separate conversation that we should be having, instead of being dude-phobic online.
But grown-ass man dudes rating underage kids. Charming. Like, seriously, considering the rating section is filled top to bottom with shirtless boys showing themselves off as well as shirtless adults, I'm not gonna call a thing, but a thing is a thing, and this thing is concerning for a number of reasons, though.
That's fair. You should just ban kids from that forum. You should just have a solid 18+ rule on that forum. I agree.
Another doc for another time. And I just think about like some of the stories we cover. If we were to take one influencer and it were to be found out that they were like busy rating the bodies of underage.
So when is the Onision documentary coming out? I'm just wondering. When will that be happening?
Minors, how well do you think that'll go? Still, it's nothing compared to what happens on looksmaxx.org forum. Take, for instance, this post where a kid asked people to rate him. Comments call him a low-tier normie in need of rhinoplasty surgery because, yes, friends, toxic online drivel that once predominantly pushed young girls to get the girls, you know, done up and ass implants is now pushing plastic surgery onto young boys for no reason other than to remind them that they too are not exempt from feeling worthless in their own bodies and being called out for their low-tier looks. Another calls him a subhuman and then uses a racial slur against him, so delightful. Another does the same, and one other forum here is dedicated entirely to surgeries, with some users alleging they actually went through with surgery specifically for LOOKSMAXXing. What have we done to humankind? Like this one titled,
Yeah, I know, it's so fucked up that anyone gets plastic surgery. We should ban all plastic surgery. Women. Fucking women. My Bimax with Dr. Safi and try to give some general advice for all the surgery maxers here. 13 degree CCW rotation.
Takeaways from my jaw surgery. This man got a Bimax surgery to extend his jaw and is still unhappy with the results completely. So I'm going to read this mostly in full. Quote, I am still very happy with the outcome and do not regret doing the surgery. However, there are a few minor things I would do differently now if I had the chance. My face kept changing even 6 months after the surgery. The final result will only be visible with metal plates removed. Sensation has returned everywhere but the lower lip and chin area, which still feels a bit tingly. I also feel compression from the metal plates there, which is probably a stress factor for the soft tissue there. One issue that I rightfully got some critique for is the area between my nose and lips. My chin looks good right now, and many of the compliments I got were about the chin. However, I am not 100% happy with it. I made the mistake of not really looking at genioplasties before the surgery. I wanted to read most of that to show you that the LOOKSMAXXING community is very, very serious about this stuff, to the point of getting permanent facial reconstruction surgery just to make these things happen for themselves.
Are you bullying them for their autistic hyperfixations? Maybe that was just something that he really wanted. The truth about LOOKSMAXXING. I think we're going to start disagreeing
Heading back
heavily
into
again
the more
here.
mainstream side of LOOKSMAXXING, Kiri and Press Reynolds for Business Insider actually put virtually all of the key tenets of soft maxing to the test for an entire week to see if they work, and found, quote, by the end of the week I felt like LOOKSMAXXING and its subcultures were a scam.
If they're a scam, why do all the boys have the jawline? How long did she say he did it for?
All of the key tenets of soft maxing to the test for an entire week to see if they work.
A week? A week? A fucking week. That's like saying, oh, I went to the gym for a week and I didn't get fucking shredded, so the gym is a scam. You're so fucking stupid. You people are so stupid and disingenuous.
And found, quote, by the end of the week I felt like LOOKSMAXXING and its subcultures were a scam designed to reel in young, insecure people. And I can say with more authority than ever that this trend harms its members and operates in a veil of total delusion.
Because you tried
Once
it
again,
for a
sounds
week.
like a new bio written for Andrew Tate. For this article, they spent 1 to 2 hours a day mewing, eating healthier, practicing better hair care,
and learn to shampoo properly. Most guys have no idea how to do this.
Running 3 to
You should only be shampooing like every 3 days.
5 miles every day, and sleeping 8 hours a night. They also...
Oh no. Toxic incels are sleeping 8 hours a night and occasionally going on jogs. Is your child at risk?
Tried face pulling on day 1 before abandoning it, and what they found was that mewing for long periods felt uncomfortable for the first 4 days, but eventually started to feel more comfortable, which made Kieran think it was working, even though they knew it wasn't, later realizing that it was just the lighting shifting in their bathroom. Quote, by the end of the week, I felt I was falling deeper into delusion. While LOOKSMAXXING can arguably be positive, helping people feel better about themselves and live healthier, there's an obvious dark and unhealthy aspect to the subculture. The deeper I descended, the more cruelties and insecurities I began to notice. I tried spending time on a LOOKSMAXXer forum to see if I could glean advice from the pros, but all I found was a community of terminally online men obsessed with asking people to rate their faces. The ratings section of the forum was the most depressing thing I observed. Some posters who identified themselves as teens wrote that they felt like their lives would be over unless they got a list of cosmetic surgeries. Other anonymous users responded with vitriol and insults, saying these people needed skull transplants. While this sort of abusive community exists everywhere online, it seems particularly toxic and supercharged among young men.
If the canine teeth align with the edge of the nose between the medial canthus and the pupil, that means that your facial harmony while smiling is going to be absolutely insane. That's the way.
Do I have that? Do my canines align with the edges of my nose and the canthus? I don't know. My facial harmony might actually be insane.
Way to have it.
When you find home in a spectrum without hope, you've fallen down the rabbit hole of the black pill, something often referenced half jokingly within those very forums. Yeah. Self-identifying, right? Kieran continues saying, quote, "Looksmaxxers likely flock to these forums because they're unhappy and alone, and looksmaxxing is a community they can belong to, however unhealthy their standards are. I found myself feeling sympathetic to the young men who feel like they need to perform these ridiculous rituals to love themselves."
So first of all, he has an enormous nose. Armenians notoriously have massive noses, but this guy's nose consumes his face. And as a result, this is within the cartoon zone.
But you know, this is just an article, right? So let's look at a more familiar face who's also, again, tried giga chatting.
Was just like staring at myself for
I watched his video that he did on this. He also only did it for like a week.
long periods of time, combing through every detail, looking for improvements, searching for a sign of a sharper jawline, and not being able to see any. All I saw was just me. I looked at myself in the mirror, and the face that looks back at me today is not the same face I saw when I looked in the mirror 20, 10, 5, or even 1 year ago. I've never had a say in how my face was going to change over the years, and I love that. We should all love that. And if I'm being honest, the more I did these exercise and methods this week, the more I thought to myself, God, I hope this doesn't actually change my face. Because then my face wouldn't be mine, right? It wouldn't be my fucking face. I think the overall message I'm trying to convey, which is very base level, but I know it's hard, but I think you should at least try to love the things that make you unique. You got a big nose, that's badass. You can smell more stuff. You know, if you've got orange hair, then that's fine.
Also extremely changeable.
There's something going on here a bit deeper than, you know, simply like LOL, incels dumb. And I believe it has to do with something the conversation calls an obsessive social disease, alienating us from ourselves and others. Society has always had a very toxic relationship with beauty standards, though generally more for women than men. And what I'm proposing is that with the rise of social media, accessibility for children and teenagers, that toxicity is getting worse for women, worse for trans and non-binary individuals, and for maybe the first big time ever, worse.
You think men have never cared about their appearance before? You think in the history of fucking society that men have never had anxiety about how they looked or were perceived by others? I'm actually baffled. I am fucking baffled. Holy shit, dude.
For men too.
This guy.
A 2021 journal titled Social Media Use and Body Image Disorders, Association Between Frequency of Comparing One's Own Physical Appearance to that of People Being Followed on Social Media, and Body Dissatisfaction and Drive for Thinness, that is that's a title, makes the point that this wider use is actually increasing body dissatisfaction in teens and young adults and could, quote, render them more vulnerable to EDs. And I think to unaliving. And to support that, the American Psychological Association, or the APA, did a study that found, quote, teens and young adults who reduced their social media use by 50% for just a few weeks saw significant improvements in how they felt about both their weight and their overall appearance compared with peers who maintain consistent levels of social media use. All of this evidence goes to iron in the point that young people, and I mean, honestly, everyone, are
yes. Phone bad, we know.
Being bombarded with something that is making them increasingly less happy with their bodies and their faces than they would be otherwise. This is how something like looksmaxxing can fill a vacuum for young men. You know, just the same as, you know, like, you know, back in the day, like old magazines or like beauty tutorials were, you know, in the past for women. We're now approaching a point where men feel as if they are being held to a stricter standard than women are. I mean, that's not true, by the way. Just still look at the weight.
Okay, you're still being dude phobic, and the wage gap does not exist.
Gap, but the men
It literally does not exist.
on those forums seem to believe it, and believing oftentimes for that individual makes it true to them. And ironically, at the end of the day, all of those standards are standards enforced by straight men on how things should be. So once again, it's men, they be imposing these beauty standards and like whole.
You think women aren't hypercritical of men's appearance? I hate this rhetoric that like refuses to acknowledge that everyone is culpable and that straight men are somehow the problem for every single thing that's ever happened in the world. Like, no. Everyone is culpable for this. Like, everyone has looked at someone and been like, ooh, they're kind of ugly. Like, every single person is responsible for society's beauty standards. Like, what the fuck?
Holding women and expecting women to just be one specific thing in a box, and they gotta be in the kitchen and all this shit. And now they're doing the same thing to themselves. In LOOKSMAXXING, skincare and hair care seem to be a brand new phenomenon for many men, but for women, skincare goes far beyond the 3 little gels recommended in most of these videos. You know, we've got the creams, we've got the face masks, anti-aging gels, chemical peels, derma rollers, fillers, fluffers, scrubbers, peptides, retinols, whatever the this is, and lymphatic drainage. And that's not to mention the wide world of makeup, plastic surgery, and the different ways skincare works when that factor is thrown in. And that's not to mention the difference in skincare and hair care for, black and brown women versus white women. So I guess all of this boils down to a simple question, regardless of gender, and one that LOOKSMAXXING seems built around entirely. Do better looks actually provide more benefits in life?
Well, I can tell you your YouTube channel would not be as popular if you were hideously ugly, right? So yes, literally they do provide better outcomes in life.
I want to jump now into the perspective segment. This is the part in a Swoop doc where I like to take a step back and try to see the story from the perspective of the person or the group that we're talking about, and try to look at it through their eyes so that we're not just living, like in an echo chamber, like cracking down on something that we think is problematic. In this case, we're looking through the hunter-shaped eyes of a looksmaxer, a believer. What might they say in regards to why this is a trend that they believe should be followed, that it's good, that this is a thing that should happen? How would they defend even the toxic elements of looksmaxing? It's kind of a sort of like devil's advocate segment that I try to do to broaden everyone's perspective here. I think that just, it's
Oh, good, because I've been devil's advocating the entire time, except I'm the good guy here. I am the white knight paladin holding up my shield and bravely defending the straight men when no one else will. That's my duty.
This is good and healthy for us to do this. So one of the central principles of a looksmaxer is the idea that men benefit more if they're attractive. The better looking you are,
Stand
the better
behind
your life
me, straight
is.
men.
They believe
I'll
that
protect
society
you.
treats them
You can send me ball pics later as a thanks.
better. They get laid more, often with hotter women. They get better jobs, drive better cars, have better looking kids, so on, so on, so on. So my question, is there truth to that? Back in 1994, researchers Hammermesh and Biddle discovered that physically attractive workers can earn about 10 to 15% more than workers of below average beauty. This was back.
Wow. It's almost as if there's some sort of wage gap there.
Backed up by a Harvard economist named Marcus Mobius and
a real one,
Tanya
actually, that
Rosenblatt,
exists this
who
time.
published a paper titled Why Beauty Matters in 2005. Across 3 different sets of workers, they discovered that attractive folks make 12 to 14% more money than unattractive people. That is a lot. These are often cited statistics for incels and even the average person when considering, the idea that beautiful people have an advantage in life. Now, anecdotally speaking, I can't really argue with it, it, right? There's a lot of research supporting this idea, even on a smaller scale, like when Vice examined the idea of pretty privilege, citing a number of studies that found there is in fact a connection that the brain makes between good looks and goodwill. Quote, from 2009, 284 subjects rated photographs of people according to how likable, attractive, and trustworthy they perceived the people in the photographs to be. Results showed that attractive individuals were deemed more trustworthy than unattractive individuals. I mean, if you think about it on a more extreme example, y'all remember Ted Bundy? Okay, mass serial asshole. In his criming days, he was conventionally very attractive. It's often been studied that Ted Bundy's looks greatly helped him crime all the time because women were more likely to inherently trust him, think that he was a good person based off of his looks. And like, even when he went to prison and his horrific deeds were exposed, some women still wrote him love letters hoping to connect with him, a man that very likely would have ended them if he had the chance, all because of his looks. But back to Vice, where the article gets interesting is when it examines why this happens, citing biology and psychology. Quote, according to California-based clinical and forensic neuropsychologist Judy Hope, pretty privilege may serve some evolutionary purpose. The more symmetric the face is, the more attractive conventionally the person is going to be, and symmetry generally has a correlation to biological strength. In other words, something about a symmetrical face, which happens to fit into what society thinks is a good-looking face, may indicate strong and healthy genes. So it makes sense for evolution to push people to want more of these genes, if only for the survival of the species. My gosh, can you imagine if the survival of the human species really was hinged upon how square a dude's jawline was? But here's
I would pick a boy from my Twitter group chat and he would save humanity. Easy. Done.
something to add to this perspective. This could also be explained by another psychological term known as the halo effect, which is when people associate a person's good trait as being reflective of their entire personality or aura. So, getting back to looks, this is of course seen when attractive people are trusted simply by being attractive. I mean, it even spills into scripted shows like You, right? Do you remember the show You? On Netflix, here's a show about a literal serial killer named Joe, played by Penn Badgley, who hunts and stalks innocent women and traps them in glass boxes for his
so true
amusement until he ends their life. But
he's looksmaxxed, guys.
Because Penn Badgley is hot, people on the internet are like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a stalker like Joe. Ah, yes, daddy, stalk me. Ah, you know, you've seen it, right? I mean, it went on so long that even Penn Badgley himself, the real guy, addressed it on Twitter with some pretty funny replies. You know, someone tweeted, said this already, but Penn Badgley is breaking my heart once again as Joe. What is it about him? To which he replied, answer, he is a murderer. And this one where someone said, I'm telling you, it's your face that does it. You're gorgeous. I can see past that crazy LOL. To which Penn replied, but you're supposed to see past my face to the crazy shit. It's the other way, the other way.
Grab a bucket and a mop. That's a lot.
Oh. So with this data and how the public seems to move, maybe this LOOKSMAXXer's perspective has some merit to it. But Judy Hope points out this goes both ways, and that being good looking can be a double-edged sword psychologically, especially for women who are more prone to be distrusted on account of being attractive. Yeah, as if women don't have enough balance being expected to look flawless every damn moment of the day in order to be acceptable to society. On top of that, we also won't be trusted as much. Fiddly-dee! Quote, people might say, for example, that because a woman is so pretty, she must be shallow or not so smart. I mean, like, sure, you know, if you like have like good hair and wear a cute little outfit, then like you like totally like seriously must be just like totally void of any brain cells. Apparently that's what they think about women or look a certain way. Anyways, but all of that being said, the research does deviate in some interesting ways when considering whether the incel's perspective is right. For instance, Psychology Today has an article about the disadvantages from being attractive. Example, envy-related hostility. Ironically, something we see a lot in LOOKSMAXXING. Quote, while it's true that better looking people are more often liked by the opposite sex, the reverse reverse is also true for others of the same sex. For instance, good-looking students are more likely to be socially excluded or bullied by those of the same sex than their less attractive counterparts, presumably as a result of envy. A similar dynamic can be observed in workplace settings.
This is my villain origin backstory. I was too handsome in high school, and it turned me evil.
Where good-looking employees face a greater level of hostility from colleagues and superiors of the same sex. Furthermore, physically attractive candidates are typically less successful in job interviews with interviewers of the same sex, and this is believed to be because they are seen as a threat. So you may make more money, you may meet more potential mates, but you're more likely to have a lot of enemies the same gender as yourself.
Oh, so you're a main character. Got it.
Another downfall comes from negative first impressions. Quote, there are many undesirable traits that are automatically assumed to accompany physical attractiveness, and needless to say, these negative impressions could then detrimentally affect the interpersonal relationship development and progression. For example, good-looking people often give off the initial impression of being self-centered, entitled, incompetent, and promiscuous. Being too attractive can also make people seem unapproachable and intimidating. Interestingly, even positive trait assumptions can have undesirable consequences, such as doctors not taking symptoms seriously due to assumptions of better health in the physically attractive. Psych Today finishes off by concluding that even though there are far more positives to being good looking, the struggles of the attractive should not be ignored. Of the various
the poor attractives. Yes, everyone recognize how hard it is for me out here.
Points outlined above, workplace disadvantages alone would have a profound effect on life. This is because approximately 50% of our co-workers in the average workplace are expected to be those of the same sex for obvious reasons.
But you make 10 to 15% more money than everyone.
For the advantage of being good looking may be more or less offset by the accompanying disadvantages. But I don't know, like this is messed up from every angle in my opinion, and it just points out that like humans, society, or whatever it is, wants to tear down people no matter what. If they think you're not attractive, they're gonna tear you down for it. If they think that you're too attractive, they're gonna tear you down for it. Like it's just, I don't know why we can't just exist. But yeah, what do I know? It's like you gotta look perfect, but not too perfect. Have surgery, but don't tell anyone you had surgery. Rate each other's looks, but don't take it personally. Make everything about appearance, but it's what's inside that counts. At this point, with the way women have been micromanaged and judged over our looks now spilling into men, I am convinced that society doesn't know what the it wants, but the one thing it's committed to.
Gee, it's almost as if society is actually like a huge group of people all with different wants and needs, and everyone's acting individually, and there's no amalgamous force of straight men pushing you in particular in a single direction.
Is making regular people feel like trash no matter what they look like. Fun! The truth is, toxic beauty standards are the real issue.
It's
not
really
only
tough
with
out here.
LOOKSMAXXING, but
I constantly need to talk shit about men.
Also the beauty industry in
every
general. LOOKSMAXXING is yet another fad set for cultural mocking, just like, you know, duck face, the thigh gap, or the dad bod. And this Chad face phenomenon is just the latest one to come peeking its head in to upset us all. It also just so happens that it has roots in a generally dangerous community though, and that, I believe, is the biggest problem with LOOKSMAXXING. LOOKSMAXXING and more female-focused trends can lead to immense and intense issues with body image that provably could lead to things like EDs, self-harm, and eventual unaliving. Like I said, it's not drama, it's dangerous. But LOOKSMAXXING has the added bonus of also potentially being a radicalization tool for young men to fall into should they find the wrong door to open.
Yeah, you know, when I find out that a man uses a facial moisturizer, I automatically know he's a Nazi. That's true. That's actually real.
Door leads to funny memes and Giga Chad fan edits. The other door leads to people like Elliot Rodger, somebody who has his own rating thread on the LOOKSMAX forum, by the way, where some users even allege to know the size of his Johnson. Yes,
did he really?
By the way, where some users even alleged to know the size of his Johnson.
Yeah,
Yes,
I believe it.
Elliot Rodger could have used some jelking in his life. That sick Hunger Magazine puts it best on why, ironically, looksmaxing may lead to some necessary conversations, though. Quote, to be honest, now that it's shock horror men being affected, these kinds of conversations probably will go ahead. And that will usher in an era where it's less about takes on Kylie Jenner's face at a recent fashion show and more about wrestling with the conditions that propagated a figure like herself to alter her appearance. One can only hope, right? And I don't know, maybe this will create a little bit more empathy for those who were spending time judging women and now they're feeling how that feels. Maybe more people will understand that this just isn't healthy for anyone, and no one deserves it. No one, I don't care who you are, no one deserves to be judged by your looks, your appearance. At the end of the day, looks will fade away into the other realm that society seems to curse, being old. And all I keep coming back to is why. Why can't we collectively, as the human species, figure out that all of this looks comparison bull does nothing more than inevitably make everyone miserable? The more you try to perfect, the more you scrutinize. The more you want—
I don't agree. I think this stuff is fine. I think giving men the same level and depth of tools that women have access to change their appearances is a positive thing. Because otherwise they're just going to sit silently in their rooms and rot.
Want people to admire your looks, the more you'll seek the approval of others before you give yourself permission to just be happy. And if all of this just leads you to aging out because you develop a wrinkle or sagging skin, then it's a losing game no matter how you looksmax it. So why are we insisting on playing it? Let me know when you find the answer. Until then, stay ready, stay petty, class dismissed. Swoop!
All right. That's it for the stream. We are done. I very much did not enjoy her and her takes. I think she's very biased. And I think that she frames I think she is framing men as the perpetrators of and the victims of, like, this entire phenomena, which, as we've kind of gone over, like, at least 50% of this is just jokes, right? The bone smashing is jokes. The fucking insane terminology, the maxing, the jelking, it's all jokes. But I feel like this video was just made so that she could put out a video. I don't know. I really don't feel like it accomplished anything. I like Swoop in her content usually, but this one just kind of feels like an anti-man wokeathon. It's like, I don't know, man. I think we let men change their bodies and faces and use face wash and sunscreen and, you know, find out what haircut fits their face best, and, like, you know, it's fucking normal. It's normal fucking shit. They should be allowed to do it. If they want to do an exercise to get a bigger jaw or a more defined jaw, if they want to have a certain body weight, if they want to have a certain level of muscularity, it's their body, their choice, and I support them. I'm always here for men, and I will always support men. Y'all are great. But anyway, I'm going to bed. Good night, everybody. Thank you all for coming.